Let's see if this is.
It's working.
Great.
There we go. Yay.
Hooray.
Okay.
All right, let me go on.
Okay, good. All right, now I will post this everywhere.
All right. Post it up.
All right. Mute the stream so I'm not just talking to myself. All right. Now I'll tweet this out everywhere, and then I'll do a proper introduction, and then if people join, great, and if not, also fine.
Right?
We can just hang out. Exactly.
I didn't even know we had this many subscribers either.
That's amazing. My God, right? There we go. Boop. Done. Okay. All right. Since I'm just going to be editing this audio for the podcast, I'll just do an introduction.
Okay.
All right. So, hi, everyone. My name is Vanessa Valiuco, and welcome to Personal Pans, conversations about belief, transformation, and all of the strange and wonderful things we experience. Today is a special live episode, and Jayson and Mera are joining me, and we're going to ramble about Pan Paracon and whatever weird things we feel like talking about. So, welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah. Hi.
This is fun and exciting.
I know, and it's the first time I've seen you both in like a while.
Yeah, we
had to recover.
Yeah, that was something. I mean, we had no idea what we were doing. We kind of did, but
right.
We really had no idea, and it was a lot, and
it was a lot. It was a lot in a really short amount of time too, which because we did it in 5 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that.
5.
Oh, it was like
5.
4.
Or
3.
I think I'm being generous because I'm like going from idea to execution,
Yeah, it was not a lot of time.
Right.
No.
And then it actually took more time. I don't know. I feel like it took more time to like recover from doing it than it did to do it somehow.
100%.
I don't know why, but it's just like really tired for the rest of the month after that.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. I had really no interest in like talking to anybody or seeing anybody or doing anything major. Yeah.
But like I tweeted out yesterday, I'm already starting to like think about next year, hope people get some good topics and good ideas and good speakers sent to us. I hope I have something like more to report, like any moving forward on any of my stuff too. If we reconvene the tech panel again.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we'll have more. I mean, I imagine we will.
I suspect. Yeah, the more we get into weird stuff. Shell in the chat said we nailed it.
Okay. I'm glad.
That's
nice.
You.
It is because, I'm used to running like classes, chainmail classes and other kind of events, but this was a whole other animal. So
yeah. Oh, it really was.
No, it went really smoothly because I don't know, everybody's always talking about like the technical issues that they have when streaming, and I think other than like the they did not want AP Strange revealing some secrets during his talk, but for the most part we did pretty well with the technical side of it too. So
the CIA intervened when I was talking to Jack, but
it was like in there. I just picture somebody who's like flicking the on and off switch.
That's it,
on the connection.
Tiny little goblin, like CIA goblin, just like nope. None
of that.
Exactly.
No. Everybody needs to believe in saucers and not that like the government is watching what we're doing and also paying attention to spy secrets and whatever. Like, no, can't have that. Right. It's all mountain bases and lavender mantises.
I still, though, there is a part of me, I think, because all of that stuff became like the sci-fi of the 90s that enjoys it. Like all of that became like the X-File mythos. So if somebody was to put out another show that was basically about mountain bases and like lavender mantises, I would watch that. I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm getting that. Yeah. Or
if it was like X-Files type.
Totally. Or when they did that short like X-Files on Hulu a couple years ago, like I would, if they wanted to do the funny one about that stuff, but also they should acknowledge, like, I would love to see somebody do it, acknowledge it as a meta commentary that these things now, like the cycle of spin, is keeping like every, like, 'cause I went from really the true believer to the agnostic on that. Like when I was young, I was like, oh, they're putting all this stuff on TV to prep us for disclosure. This is like me as a kid. As me as like a teenager, like being like 15 and being like, oh, the X-Files is really like prepping us and all this stuff and like all the alien stuff. And it was just like, okay, no, that didn't happen. And
what's funny though, I totally felt that, well, not exactly that way, but I kind of felt that way about like Men in Black, the movies.
No, Men in Black, like, Independence Day. There was a lot of it's like they were, that was the thing. It's like they're testing out the different scenarios on us. Here's like the benign scenario. Here is the really devastating scenario. I don't know. And now it's just, I don't know. Now it's kind of the same. Like, oh, it's really gonna happen.
This is the problem I have with a lot of this, that it's very similar to doomsday cults, right? In the sense that it's always around the corner. It's always around the corner. Oh, okay. Well, we did the timetable wrong. So it wasn't this week. It's actually going to be in 17 weeks, but it's for real. It's going to happen then, And at some point, you have to accept that you are never going to get the answers that you want. And maybe that the answers that you want aren't the real answers anyway. So, like, I don't know, again, the journey is always more interesting to me than this idea of the destination or the truth, the disclosure. Like, do we really know what any of those things actually mean? And
exactly.
Again, we've been waiting for the same thing over and over and over again. Like the same narratives are being used. Again, so speaking of like doomsday, again, I watch a lot of Red Letter Media and they do Best of the Worst. And there was this video they were watching about how barcodes were the mark of the beast. And
sure, I remember
and I remember credit cards were the mark of the beast. Like the mark of the beast has been a lot of different things over the past 30, 40 years. But if you don't have that kind of memory, or if you aren't old enough to remember that, you're going to get wrapped up in thinking that there's suddenly a new story, right? And there's suddenly
right.
And similar with disclosure, I grew up watching X-Files and like loved every single alien nonsense that like Fox Network put out, because there were a lot of specials. Anything that had Jonathan Frakes in it, I was going to watch. Like I was into all of it. I never thought like disclosure was a thing, because I'm Polish, so it was much more of a like, oh, nobody's ever going to find out anything. The government is lying to you about everything. But like this awareness that, oh, something is going on and it's being covered up. Now that I've done more research, it's like, oh, what we think is happening is probably a lot different than what is actually happening. And even the most fringe ideas, it's like, okay, those are fun, but the answer is probably very interesting, but also very mundane. I don't know.
No, it's true. Definitely. It's not what you think.
Yeah, nothing is what you think. And that's cool. Like, don't get caught up in what you think is real. I think it's much more interesting.
Yeah, that's
to explore.
True.
Yeah.
Like always leave room for, like the possibility that things are totally different, because you just never know when something's going to happen and to completely change how you
Uh-oh, they got her.
The goblins got her.
They got her. Yeah.
Dang
Hopefully.
it. If you
She'll
can
come
hear us,
back.
Mera, sacrifice that breadstick to the goblins.
Seriously, give them the breadstick. Oh boy, they got her on that one.
Tragic. I know.
It's all real, folks. The Tic Tac is from Alpha Centauri.
Yeah.
It's all real.
Yeah, I
Speaking
take back
of
everything I said.
right,
It's all real.
no, that's all good stuff. I don't know. I actually, I still I actually do entertain though. Bop, there she is.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Yeah, you're good.
That is quite a face it froze on too.
Yeah. No, I will tell you, there's no such thing as like you pulling a face. If you are speaking, you are pulling a face. Because when I edit video for work, no matter what you do, if you just like, I have to like hit pause for a second, you're always like, you're always pulling some really goofy face, just saying like a normal thing. Somebody's like an expert, like, well, this is the thing about this thing. And you hit pause and they're just like, they have like the worst expression humanly imaginable on their face. So,
oh no.
Yeah.
Recording, even like editing the personal pans, it's just like, oh God, any freeze frame. And I look terrible. I look like a crazy person.
No, it's true. It's true.
They're like really excited about something or kind of a doof. So that's fine. I'm just accepting the fate. Yeah.
Although,
good.
What I was going to say, though, for me is, like, I still kind of hold... I believe, like, pie chart theory, like, it's all happening. Like, anytime somebody... It's like, yeah, there's at least one cave base with a mantis. There are definitely at least one hardware ship has come from someplace in outer space and landed down here. And little aliens have run around. There's definitely stuff from other dimensions. There's definitely time travelers coming back. I like that. It's just more fun for me. Yeah, it's also probably because I grew up reading too many comic books. So, in that thing, like all of it, it's like what's happened. There's time travel. You travel to other dimensions. The dead come back. Like anything. There's demons. There's aliens. There's, that's kind of the whole thing of it. Makes it kind of fun for me in that regard. So I don't know about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, again, we all have different approaches to it. For me, it's much more interesting to say again, I've had enough strange experiences that I know that something weird is happening out in the universe. I don't know what it is. And I also think that all of the terms that we use about the phenomenon as it exists are, again, using language that humans have invented. So you're going to have limitations on your explanation of those experiences just by the basis of, again, living in three-dimensional space, a linear time dimension, and language that we have invented in order to describe things in the way that we approach them rather than necessarily how they exist in their milieu, So it's like, okay, well, like exactly. You can approach things, you get feelings of things, and you can even sort of describe things, but you're always going to be, again, I think there's always going to, to me, it's more comfortable understanding that there's always going to be a component that I don't fully understand. And I'm cool with that because, or that I can't describe, or that no one can describe, because again, our language is limited to our evolutionary adaptation into this three-dimensional space, right? With these objects. I can't perceive four-dimensional time or four-dimensional space. It probably exists. Multi-dimensional space exists. Calabi-Yau spaces exist. Don't ask me how to describe what a six-dimensional Calabi-Yau space looks like. I can't. Like, no.
I don't even know what that is. Honestly. I'm gonna have to look that up though. No, absolutely. And that's why, that's where, like, flying saucers, because it looked like a dish in the sky. It's like you just use, you could, any example, like even, Bigfoot is just like a big ape. They're like, it looked like an ape, but you know what I mean? You just have so many different descriptions of the same thing.
Yes, that's exactly it.
It just, yeah, there's always going to be like a little bit of it missing. Like there's just not a whole picture of it.
Yeah. And I think that's fine. I think it gives that room for exploration, which again, to me is more playful and more interesting and I don't know, more exciting, like, okay, what could this be? Like, I was thinking about this the other day. I took a couple archaeology classes when I was an undergrad. And the professor, he was an archaeologist. And so he had us do these artifact reports. And the first artifact report I did, I was looking through the sources and I looked at the piece and I said, well, this is what it is. And he kind of came back with me and he's like, do you know for sure? And it's like, well, the sources say that. He's like, what about these other sources that say what other it could be, And so then the next time I did an artifact report, it was on this beautiful little figure. They're called Telhalaf Figures. And they're these ancient Mesopotamian figures. It was beautiful. It was this like seated female figure, like arms cupping under her breast, just a little like elongated pinched head, And I did an intensive report on everything that thing could possibly be. Because we don't know what it is. Like it existed in a time before there was a written record. Nobody knows what these things are. And again, to me, it's more interesting to explore. Like some people think they're little goddess figurines. Okay. Some people think they're just toys. Okay. Could be that too. They're just little figures made out of clay, kind of crudely decorated. We don't know. To me, the exploration is a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That actually made me think, like when you said a toy, it just made me think like we've been watching the Minions here.
Yeah.
Lately. It's just maybe that it could absolutely be something that they've created just for children to play with, like an imaginary figure.
Yeah.
But again,
right?
How imaginary are imaginary figures though too? That's another question.
That's true, right? That's true. Again, it's fun I think it's fun to ask those questions and to explore, like rather than getting caught up in this is what this is and it can't be anything else. And I'm going to get mad at anybody who potentially, offers me a different interpretation of this thing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't need an answer.
Yeah, right? Yeah, maybe because I grew up again around like controlling Polish people. I'm like, I don't need an answer. Just tell me what it might be. That's fine.
Right.
Release
and let go,
Exactly.
I think though it's kind of it's a lot of it is people that can't shift a framework. Like some things really do have to be concrete and you have to know them. Like I need them to tell the audience right now, I need a 15-pin AUI cable. If one of you has one out there, and I need it to be that, and it can't be, you can't ask what that is. It's a very concrete thing. And this for science. And but it's
wait,
like,
do you really need it though?
No, I really do. I really do, because I have two things that I need to hook up, and that's the cable I need. It's a weird cable, and there's not a lot of them around. And I ordered one from someplace, but I don't know if it's ever coming. But like that's that's where you need to be objective. Our lamps need to work. But I don't think of trying to apply this to any of this more ephemeral, like trickster phenomena that it appears to you this way once, and it really appear to you. Like somebody could have a sighting or an experience where it's like there's a ramp and we walked up the ramp and there were dudes and we had space helmets, and then other people have kind of a completely different type of thing. It's just being able to shift that viewpoint, being like, this is objective and it needs to be objective. And I understand where to apply like my objective thinking versus trying to force, because when you're talking about that to me, it was like, do you need to do something with it? It's like, we don't need we're not going to solve the energy crisis by having like ghosts fart in a bottle. And that somehow turns into our electricity. You know what I mean? It's not.
But what if it could?
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
We can
But I
try.
do think, I mean, that's the human condition, though, of wanting to
Adler's
like.
here.
I
How
want to.
logical is this?
I want to. I want to know anyway. Like, I think that's a thing that Adler and I have said to each other a couple times. Like, we'll never know, but I want to know. Like, so it's a part of the motivating factor to keep poking at it. Although, unlike many of the folks that you've had on your show, and many of the people that do this stuff as like a main chunk of their lives, like I haven't had a whole lot of strange stuff happen to me. I've had one like major strange, and then other than that, I just think it's still really interesting. So you know, I think maybe, I don't know, I have less. I think I want to poke at it a little bit more than some people that have it. Like, if it comes to you and you're just like, yep, that's I got. If you're sitting there,
like
there's that cartoon where you're like, at any given moment. Again, this is not mine. I saw this cartoon. You're touching like 4 ghost butts. Have you seen that on Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think there are
Right.
people for whom that is a lived reality, and they're just like, yeah, I'm just cool with it. And for me, it's not. And I'm like, I'm gonna go like give this a little like a little poke, see what happens.
Sure.
But in a fun way.
Yeah, of course. And again, I think that's, I think it's okay to poke at things and to explore I think it's good to poke at things and explore things and try to get a sense of what they are, and even try to find answers. I just think from a purely kind of objective perspective, you're only going to get partial answers, and to be okay with that, because our brains
definitely
can only wrap around so much of it. And also, like, because my personal feelings about, like, okay, if people are experiencing different phenomena in different ways, like, it's probably because each of us have a different access point to it, and so we're all going to see something different and different manifestations of a similar thing, or maybe a couple things, rather than, there are 100 different species of aliens, and they really, I mean, maybe cool, if there's some intergalactic high council that's like chilling and visiting us periodically as some like tourist planet, great. But is there also some other thing that's happening that we're just having subjective experiences of?
I don't know. It's really interesting. I kind of, again, I'm when I came back to this stuff, because I had a long break from weirdness.
Yeah.
And when I came back, I'm still kind of working through this in my own mind. Everybody was just kind of talking about the phenomenon and the linkages between things, which is really interesting. But I also question whether, like, it's more like a biosphere, because people talk about phenomenon. I'm holding up silly putty, and when people started talking about it, I'm like, it's like silly putty. They're just talking about this homogenous like thing, and I'm like, I tend to think of it now, especially after the liminal Earth talk at Pan Paracon, as kind of this like weird ecosystem where, like our planet, there's all kinds of plants and animals, many different organisms, and you would look at like, like this planet gave rise to both like the jellyfish and us, these like, semi-hairless monkeys,
Right.
that can ponder their own existence. So it's like, yeah, it's all, the phenomenon. It could be one thing, but it could be one thing in the way like organic life is one thing.
Yeah. Good point.
But I don't know. So I just, like, when you say that stuff, though, like, I have the Intergalactic Council. There's a part of me where that's where my joy lies, because I have that one book that's like the field guide to aliens. And there's all the weird guys, like the guy that's just like a box with like a tube sticking out of him. And I just want to see like the thing where it's like just the Galactic Council, there's like the aliens that you're used to, but then the really weird ones that are like, there's like a Sasquatch looking guy, but he's got like really shiny coveralls on. And it's like, yeah, I dig that. You know, like
right. Like Farscape and Babylon 5, right? Like,
yeah,
give me the weird shit. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
You know,
makes me think of like Star Wars.
any of those things where there's
Yeah.
just a lot of imaginative. I like the realm of very imaginative creatures that like Star Wars or like, you know, any of the stuff like Dark Crystal, like any of the Jim Henson stuff, all that really. Farscape's a really good example. Any of that is still kind of cool to me. The idea that you just meet all these Star Trek, you know, you just meet all these cool beings and be like, you know, shooting the breeze with them at the like the cantina or something and having adventures.
I mean, that would be so fun.
But
yeah,
that's the allure of the like the physical aspect of this to me, where you know that still lies in that aspect. I think coming from science fiction.
Sure, I mean that makes a ton of sense to me, because again, I grew up watching Star Trek: The Next Generation, so there is that like that joyful sense, again, that sense of exploration, that joyful sense of a variety of all these new things and new experiences and new aliens, and they're all just kind of doing their thing.
But you know, and I think we've talked a lot about the fun aspect. Like I'll tell you something fun that's happening now. Because I joined up on Liminal Earth, like I'm on their, you know, on their Patreon, on their Discord, and Garrett Kelly has made a Christmas spirit box.
Ooh.
That as well, you know, like remember the Greg Newkirk in the Paramuseum, like they did the Santa channeling, and and then I think Kyle is doing that on Chaos and Shadow this year. And we were talking about channeling Santa, and this is like literally just a joke. It's like we should have a Christmas spirit box. So he made a bunch. It's digital. He took a bunch of Christmas music and chopped it into the like interval, like,
oh my God, it's
like
Christmas
the interval
music
it's Christmas music that plays as though randomized in the interval sweep as that. So we're gonna try he's not putting it online. It's for the if you join Liminal Earth, it's on the Discord. But it's so fun.
That's
like
he's
this coming out. It's just like it's
I want to listen to that.
But it's like obviously, if you're gonna do Estes and try to channel Santa, you need Christmas spirit. So but that to me is what makes, I don't know. I think that to me is like that's delightful, and I'm really glad to be a part of what they're doing with that. Even just I'm giving you some money to keep so you can go on adventures and do stuff.
Absolutely.
Because we were talking about our latest controversy on the Twitter and how seriously people should take stuff and whether this is accessible to everyone or not.
Yeah.
Which I kind of think it is.
I also think it is. I think it's like, all right. I mean, everybody wants to be special, right? I get that. I'm an only child. I'm an only grandchild. I understand that impulse a lot. And also, I think life is a lot more interesting if you are open, if you are willing to play. I think as soon as you take yourself too seriously, you lose it. You lose the magic, period. You might be able to like squeeze some magic out of like a rock, being like ultra edgelord and serious, but I think you can do a lot more gracefully with play and playfully. Like I think magic finds you and wants to play with you if you are willing to engage it, and I think anybody can engage it in their own way. Again, similarly, I think people see like aliens in a particular way because they are a conduit to a particular kind of thought form. I think not all magic is for everyone, but magic in general, especially since I think magic is suffused into literally everything, all matter, all being, anybody can do that.
I tend to think of it like drawing. Like everybody can draw. Everybody starts drawing as a kid. you get to an adults say they can't draw. And
Yes.
it's like, you can't draw like a perfect, like realistic image from your mind because you haven't done like the practice you need to get there, but you could draw something right now. Like you
Right.
could draw stick figures. I tend to think of it like that. So when like I see like very like high magician ceremonial guys really serious into this, I'm like, well, those are the people that are like, I'm like the like they're trying to paint like Rembrandt. But I
Mhm.
feel also just saying like I don't feel like you have to do that. You don't have to commit to being like, you don't have to commit to painting like a master to enjoy painting. You don't have to commit to like any of these things. That's like a huge thing that took me decades to learn is you can do things at the level you enjoy because you enjoy them. So if you enjoy just doing like, like I'm gonna try to make like little, like do a little chaos magic thing or do a little like,
Yeah.
talk to elves. I'm gonna go out in my backyard and talk to elves. Like, absolutely,
Yeah.
go out and talk to elves.
Go for it.
Um, like,
Hmm.
Big fat
maybe
squirrels.
I feel like that's a bit.
Yes.
I feel like maybe that's a. I know everybody's gonna be like, "Don't go talk to the elves; it'll drag you to." Well, maybe.
Listen,
Um,
it was 62 degrees in Chicago today. It's the apocalypse here. Take me to the Elf Kingdom. I'm cool with it. Like,
at this point, you're just kind of like, right. It's like,
Like, is there
you're just
COVID
kind of
there?
like, yeah. I mean,
right, good
it's just
point.
like, I mean, it's like that would be the thing. It's like you're trying to take it to. I mean, like, well, what's it like? Exactly. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
if somebody
The
like,
picture of the or the meme or whatever of the the alien trying to abduct the guy. He's like, "Aren't you surprised?" And like, I have a lot going on,
Yeah,
like or
exactly.
something like that. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I
Like, take
often
me away.
Yeah.
and
I'm
it's
cool
I
with
often
it.
there's a lot of that sentiment. I mean, with the new Matrix film coming out, um, I restilled the line Hugo Weaving going like, because that first one came out in '99. He's like, this we recreated the pinnacle of your civilization, and I'm like, maybe 1999 was the pinnacle of our civilization.
Things took a
Like,
dive after that.
it's a good dive. Like we had, it's like we had computers, but we didn't have like um Instagram driving like teens to suicidal thoughts because of the algorithm pushing like ultra thin models onto their feed and
Right.
no normal people with normal bodies.
Yeah, that everything is face tuned and nothing is
you
real.
know
We have created this, like again, bringing up the Matrix. Like one of the inspirations behind that was Baudrillard's simulation and simulacra,
right.
right? Where it's like every things have been so far removed from reality that people are trying to be simulations and like copies of simulations. It's like no, we don't even know what's real anymore. Oh God, with meta, gross, gross,
But
gross.
with
Not a
but
Luddite, but I feel that way sometimes.
there's some stuff I don't worry about. Like everybody. Here's a thing that I think about a lot. If I had a lot more energy, I would devote all of my time to coming up with some kind of system on this and write a book.
Mm.
But I think about, people were talking like when I first, again too, when I first got back into weird, there was no magic. Like there was no cross pollination, and nobody talked about magic at all. There's no
Mhm.
magicians. In like 2004 when
Mhm.
I was like, I'm going on break. Um, and everybody's talking about getting this effect and getting like creating this change in reality and focusing this. So I had a lot of parallels of that when I was working in advertising. I could see it in bigger campaigns, and I sort of relate the magic process to like an ad campaign, in that, like, let's say you wanted, I always use VR glasses as a thing, because those were like, I want to say, God, like 2017, 2018, the gift. Like everybody really, there was a VR push, and it was mostly the crappy ones that you put your phone in front of your thing on.
Yeah.
But like you can create a bubble of reality you control for a brief period of time. Like, so you can pour thousands, millions of dollars into ad campaigns and be like, get the VR glasses, get the VR glasses, get the VR glasses. And there's sort of a breakover point where if you put enough energy behind it, and this translates into dollars spent on advertising, you will just get people to get them eventually. Like, they will all get them. If it sucks though, like there is like when like you created your bubble, and then when the bubble is either going to like solidify into the new reality, or it's going to pop. And mostly it depends. It's like if it solidifies, it's like this is the new consensus reality where we all do this. If it pops, it's like the VR glasses where it's like everybody, these are terrible, this is boring, nobody likes them, I'm going to re-gift these. They go to be like, they're gifted, they're on a shelf, they're in Goodwill. Sony did the metaverse like 1,000 years ago, and the PS3 was like relatively new. Because this was like the last time I also really cared about gaming. I bought a PS3, and they had this thing. It was basically the same thing. You made an avatar that kind of looked like you or whatever, and you walked around in weird space, and like where that thing where like Zuck's playing cards with aliens. It was like you could do that, and you could walk around, and it sucked. And first of all, it was boring. A lot of stuff that like, I feel like people underestimate the amount of sensory input that goes into our just like getting up and walking around. And when it's literally just a visual of like, here's like, it's like a butt. You're like, that's what I would do. If I was going to make my own like reality thing, I would be like the butt generator would be the thing we spent the most money on, because you're going to be staring at your character's butt the whole time you're in there, just walking. Okay, so like walking for yourself, you can do a walking meditation depending on what senses you have. You know, if you can see and you can hear and you can smell, you're engaging a lot of stuff. You're engaging, you can do walking meditation. You're engaging this. If you're just online, pushing like your W key forward so your character's butt is going, all you're stimulating is the visual cortex and maybe the audio if there's some music, and it's terrible. And most of that stuff is just going to be like that. It's going to be like, I could walk over and play like poker with the aliens. You do it like, it's going to be like I did it 2 or 3 times and then I logged off forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never used like virtual reality stuff before.
Yeah, me either.
The problem is, I feel like a lot of these outfits want to create these virtual spaces because they believe in doing so. They can ignore, like, you can ignore any sort of like systematic inequality in real world. Like, one of the things on this, I don't know how we got off this conversation, Matrix. I'll get back to the Matrix in a minute. Coming around, taking a long way around the barn. But like
ADHD.
This is good. You were in the audience, you were promised rambling, and we were doing our best to deliver it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, off the wall brains making it happen.
As much as I will cop to liking all kinds of nerd stuff like comics and Star Trek. A friend of mine who's deeply into nerd culture, when it came out, was like, you should read Ready Player One. And I'm like, this makes me want to barf. This is the most bleak thing I have ever read. Basically just like, but it's like, this is, you can live in like the post-climate apocalypse, post-job apocalypse,
right.
Post-everything thing, but do nerd stuff in VR. The one thing though that they're not doing is they're not even giving us enough money. Like, you still need like $5,000 worth of PC to get the good VR, and even if you're in the good VR, it's still like, it's one of those technologies that's always been coming. Taking it back to the Matrix, It was coming in 1998. There was virtual reality markup language and all that stuff. But the fact that it didn't exist, the fact that none of that stuff existed, but we still had computers and we still had AIM, and we could be like, dude, you want to go to Taco Bell on AIM, was like, that truly was where our civilization peaked. And you might have had your little like custom sounds for your AIM notifications.
MySpace was when I first started getting like personalized with all that stuff, where I was like learning HTML because I wanted to customize my profile. Thank you. I didn't know that was possible on AIM.
I read a beautiful thing about that launched so many like non bros such as myself into coding.
Yeah.
That was like people, like a lot of people's first brush was like doing their MySpace. Like MySpace was even better. Like we could even go back to like 2003 and be like, yeah, we were all on MySpace and you were in your, you know, like who's in your top 8 and what's the song that plays. But
oh man, I miss MIDIs. I miss MIDI files and websites.
Right.
MIDI player, it's like, oh, this is going to take a long ass time to load on dial-up, but I don't.
But that's also like the same thing is like you could know enough code to do your MySpace and have a delightful experience with it, much like you could know enough magic to go do some stuff and just re-enchant your world, and you don't have to be able to control the weather or cast fireball. I'm
glad you brought this back up because I love this analogy of, okay, you can't necessarily draw or you can't paint like Rembrandt, but you can still paint. You can still draw. I hear all the time people say, I can't sing. It's like, you can sing. You might not be able to belt songs out like Christina Aguilera or Adele. You can still sing, even if you can't necessarily carry a tune. You can still, the act of singing is a thing that you very likely can do, you know? So again, this idea that some people paint like Rembrandt, some people paint like Jackson Pollock. You know what? That's cool, right? What is your style, right? Where is your magic? What is your what is the way that you connect with these things? Because I'm one of those adults who says I can't draw. If I sit down and draw, I can actually draw fine, you know, but I am more drawn to like more cartoony type of things. Like that's where I kind of excel.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
I also, again, crochet and knit and sew and all of that kind of stuff. That's how my creativity comes out. Again, my magic looks very different than somebody else who's a ceremonial magician or a traditional Wiccan or any other variety of magicians or practitioners. I'm a chaos magician, period. And I have been before I even knew what the language was. That's the thing that I do. That is what speaks to me. Am I less effective? Am I less of a witch? Am I not a proper magician? I don't necessarily think so. If someone does, fine. You know, like it's just such a weird kind of, again, like you said, you can sing, you can draw, you can do magic. It's just going to look different than some other people.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Figure or,
yes.
You know.
The real magic is not judging yourself or others by that standard.
Right.
If you can just like unclench and be like, I'm just doing it at the level, like I would not subject another human being to my singing, but I enjoy doing it.
There you go.
You know,
yes,
that's
right.
like, that's for me, but it still feels good. You know, it still benefits my soul to belt out some tunes.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
It's kind of, I think that's where it is. But it took me, especially on the art thing, like 12 years to unlearn that, maybe.
Yeah.
It's better late than never.
Definitely.
You know, I just feel the biggest thing is getting to a place where you're doing it and you feel it's like benefiting you.
Right.
You
right.
know?
Is it making your life better? Again, where you're like, I'm not going to subject somebody to my singing, but it makes your life better. It brings you joy. I think, again, politically, I think joy and play are very powerful tools, especially when we live in a society that is constantly alienating us from joy and from play in order to be good, efficient workers, right? So I think that there's something inherently rebellious and inherently affirming when you're doing something that is joyful and that is playful. It doesn't have to be for everyone. Like you said, you sing alone. Like I draw and I keep my doodles to myself, or I write and I keep my fiction to myself. I'll publish nonfiction. I'm pretty confident about that. But like my weird stories, they're for me. Yeah, but all of that expression, those expressions make my life better and make me feel like a more full person and that my existence is fuller. I think that's the power of it, right? Affirming the subjective, affirming the personal.
I also think you just hit on the reason of why the whole current wave of UFO stuff turns me off, even though I used to be a big UFO guy. There's not a lot of fun in it, and the people involved in it don't seem to be having a lot of fun either.
Right.
Like it's just,
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
Like I remember this is a deep cut, but Glenn Campbell's old Groom Lake Desert Rat newsletter that used to be a guy that hung out near Area 51, and he wrote about a lot of the stuff, Web 1.0. I have actually printed all of these out and have had them forever. On the dot matrix printer, which I had when I was small. And when I say small, folks, I don't mean like a little person. I mean I was just less wide, and but I have
weren't we all?
There was a lot of really good like
years.
There was a lot of good, and even I can't stop myself from joking around. Like there's a lot of like really, his writing was really warm and humorous, and there was, I think when this stuff entered the zeitgeist, like there were a lot of great moments in X-Files. There was a lot of really good. There was humor and delight even in the way it was presented, and a lot of that stuff. And now it's just like, I feel like it's a lot of like, as we have all these problems in the world, there are a lot of people that are sort of like pinning all their desperation on this one thing. And the people that claim to be like, it's like that's what gets me now, is it's like everybody's really cranked and doing the doomsday call like any minute now, any minute. The only group that had handled that with any grace was the Church of the Subgenius, and they were never serious about anything anyway.
I'll have to look that up.
No, they had their thing, like X Day was prophesized to have in like 1999, and then it didn't happen, and now they just get together and celebrate like X Day not happening on whatever date that was. So it's just like, like
well, and again, I'm not enough of a fan to remember the name of the episode, but like the X-Files episode where Alex Trebek shows up, like that's one of the best episodes, and it's playful and it's silly and it's just like amazing. And I think just because you're playing doesn't mean you're not taking the subject seriously. You're just also engaging in, I don't know, I guess a more full-bodied experience about it. When you're a kid, like all your games are very serious, you're still a kid and you're still doing very silly things. But man, I took it really seriously. We would play Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? And if I wasn't Carmen Sandiego, I was very upset. Like it's just a silly playground game, but it matters.
That's the one thing, though, I think, like, trying to combine a little bit of the stuff with youth and the with old age. At least I've learned not to take things so seriously. Like, you gotta have that, like, the spark of play, but also getting to the point where you're just, like, accepting and okay with stuff and learning how to enjoy the game even when you're not Carmen Sandiego.
Right. Well, I think too, again, to get a little serious, it's like the past 4 years have been filled with a lot of grief and a lot of life change and a lot of oppressive kind of things for me, right? If something isn't life and death, it's not life and death, and you really can't. I will not get all that worked up about it. I get annoyed about a lot of things. I got a lot of fire in my chart. I get very angry very quickly, but it usually dissipates very quickly also, because it doesn't matter. Like, there are certain things that matter a whole bunch. Again, life and death. If it's not that, okay, fine. You know,
yeah, I'm trying to save myself for the stuff
that
really matters.
Yeah, exactly.
I just looked over at the YouTube channel and my face was frozen on the most heinous screenshot of me, and I'm actually going to hit print screen and take a picture of it. It's so awesome.
Great.
I'm going to use it.
Yeah, you can change all of your profile photos to that.
I was going to say, like,
You're
this
next,
is so
Vanessa. 2 out of 3.
This is so heinous that it has to be preserved for all time.
It has to be
Perfect.
preserved.
Perfect.
No,
Great.
it does. The rambling, and that's where all, like, everybody needs to go, like, are people still listening to this? Are they still out there?
There's a couple people in the chat. I see.
What's going on?
How many of those are us, but
what's going on, people in the chat?
There were a couple things about, like, is the Grinch a demon? I've never thought about that before.
I don't even know. I think the Grinch. We'll talk about the Grinch.
Just a regular old cryptid.
Yeah, he's just a regular old cryptid. I mean,
he just feels left out, you know.
Right.
The Who's don't like him. Maybe if someone bought him a couple gifts.
Because it works out. Like, he gets. I mean, the Grinch is a good example of that. Like, learning. Like, he learned a lot in the course of that.
Yeah.
Learn what was important.
A personal journey.
Cindy Lou.
I don't think he's a demon. I think he's a cryptid. I don't know. I wonder
what inspired the Grinch. I am deeply fascinated with, like, what authors and artists and stuff, like, what made you think, how'd you come up with this? You know, I want to know.
Yeah. Was it a strange dream? Was it a horrible relative?
Did you just make it up when you were a kid?
Make it up? Yeah, exactly. Was it your imaginary friend as a child? Like, what is it? Yeah.
Yeah. That's something I want to know.
Yeah.
I can't, I don't know anything about demons other than how they exist in pop culture, and I don't think anybody else does either. Like, the Demon Ghost Bros. Like, I was watching,
the Ghost Antagonizers.
Oh my God.
I watched, not a good movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger's End of Days.
Okay, I love that movie. So
I didn't say I didn't like it. I just said it's not a good movie.
And it is not a good movie. Let's be clear, it's not. But it is a guilty pleasure.
That's definitely, like, I mean, that to me sort of represents the fact that nobody, like, that's a great movie that, like, literally is like, I've never read the Bible. I don't know anything about. I literally know what every American that is just kind of like quasi-religious but has never actually read anything knows. So I am just going to make up, like, write the script for this movie. Yeah, and I was DMing Mera about this when I was watching it in Adler, and I was like, so if you are confronted with a demon, military grade weaponry is apparently, like, you have to fight the devil himself. You need a rocket launcher. Like, that's
I vaguely
rocket launchers fix everything.
You know, but I was just like, but it's just like, you know, there's no, but to me that was just like, yeah, I don't really know anything about any of this stuff. Like, sure, like, there's always some, yeah, but it's just like, but we have this, it's a weird thing though, because like there's stuff like Bible code and all this stuff where nobody knows anything. Nobody's done any real scholarship on this, and you could just kind of be like, whatever. Just like, of course, there's a secret passage in one of the apocryphal books of the Bible where every 1,000 years Satan gets to run around for a day and try to get his bone on. And if he does, that ends the world. You know, you can get anybody to believe anything because we don't know anything. And that movie just like really made me think about that as Arnold was chasing. Is that Gabriel Byrne around?
Byrne? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, everyone in listener land used to watch that because that has
it's pretty good.
It has a scene where Gabriel Byrne as the devil pees gasoline and uses that to blow up some cop cars, and it's just that alone is worth like your time.
Oh my goodness.
Actually, I was shocked. And then also, I would recommend, if you enjoy that scene, watch the second Ghost Rider movie with Nicolas Cage because they play homage to that.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, and there's an intro to film theory term. So,
okay, so Ghost Rider made me think of Ghost Writer, the PBS TV show that I used to watch all the time, obsessed with it. And it's about it's a kid's show about a ghost that talks to kids and helps them solve mysteries. Like, how fucking cool is that? We need more of that.
That reminded me,
cranky
though.
Old lady rant, by the way.
No, that reminded me, though, of what you.
They're not doing too bad, though.
Yeah.
What you and Kate were talking about how we processed fear then versus now in the media. You know, where even on the macho side of it, though, it's like you got guys like antagonizing something and running around in like Zach Baggins. I'm just gonna drop his name. He's gonna find me. You can bleep that out later.
Ooh.
Who cares? That guy's got $1 million. He doesn't care.
Of course, yes.
I'm not sticking Zach for his paper on this. But like that whole thing of just like running around and being like demons, it's like you didn't even react like Arnold. Like Arnold is just like he's gonna Glock the devil. Like even the macho, the hyper masculine reaction to fear was better 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yes, good points.
He's just like, no, I'm going to Glock the devil and save the girl. This is ridiculous. But I definitely. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I am deeply, deeply sorry to everyone listening to this at this point.
I kind of want to eat that breadstick now.
Do it.
Yeah,
Now's
do
the time. This is
Listen, this is a relaxed episode, right? Like I've been dealing with a lot, dealing with my mother, dealing with my late aunt stuff. It's like we're just chilling out, talking about demons and the Grinch and breadsticks, and it's cool. It's just all cool.
We're balancing the cosmic scales because the first 3 episodes you had really smart guests that had tremendous amounts of insight, and now you got me. And
need balance in the universe.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge idiot, and that's kind of the space I'm in. Don't get me wrong, folks. Being a huge idiot is the root of all my power.
There you go. That's your chaos magic, and I think
it keeps me from being. It is a shield that keeps me from taking myself too seriously most of the time.
Yeah, great.
people like I feel that every time people are like I'm gonna quote Dante and like the thing, and it's like, I've read that, but the Nick Cage Ghost Rider movies resonated with me on a more personal level, as expression of, you know, the infernal realms and the human condition there.
Yeah.
I'm not.
We all access it in different ways, right? For some of us, it's Dante. For some of us, it's Ghost Rider. For some of us, it's Ghost Writer.
Yes, that sounds like a huge. That sounds like a huge show. I do
It was great.
think.
Yeah.
I do wish we would get a little bit more. Like, I know everybody likes a good horror movie and we like a good scare, but if it was a little bit more like playful, investigate, have an adventure, learn something about ourselves, that I do really believe that the stories we tell, we sort of end up reflecting them in that, and we're just reflecting back a lot of like real negative stuff right now.
There's a lot of, again, I think that there is a lot of unresolved trauma right now that is seeping into everything, seeping into art and absolutely into politics, and really just the public realm. And it's kind of, again, as somebody who's been in therapy off and on for a long time, it's kind of frustrating to me because it's like, all right, I know you're hurting, we're all hurting, but do your work rather than spewing that either online or at a store you go to or something to unsuspecting people who don't need it, because they're also carrying whatever trauma that they're carrying as well.
Yeah.
Like we're all having, especially we're going into year 3 of the pandemic. Like we're all having a real hard time right now. People are continuing to go more and more feral. It's bad,
A good way to put it.
Yeah, like figure out whatever your self-care is, if that's like an Epsom salt bath, or like reading esoterica, like, or both. I mean, that sounds great. Like, do it, right? Do whatever keeps you centered and grounded and protected in this very raw and difficult time.
I think
like, sorry.
Yeah, I want to encourage people to go feral, but in a good way. Like, don't be screaming at people. Don't, just like, if you want to go out and wear like your Vanilla Ice t-shirt and pajama bottoms to the grocery store, like, go feral, man. Just,
that
like,
I'm into. That is a deconstruction of capitalist expectations that 100% do. Be chaos demons in that way. Like, go forth. Yeah.
I actually would say deconstruct all your like social capitalist mores about wearing adult pants to things, because there's no point, and that's just adding. No,
I wear leggings pretty much all the time. Most of them that I've made, and it's a better life. Right?
I wear.
Yes.
Okay, now this is somebody that is like, here we are talking about like chaos magic, okay, but I'll tell you, like, a spell that doesn't work, a spell that's guaranteed to fail, a spell that's not going to do anything for you, is putting on khakis. Nobody ever gained power, became closer to the Godhead, okay, revealed their inner light by putting on a pair of khakis. I'm sorry. There's like one person out there that did. That's like, I was always going to be like, these are my favorite pants, and they changed me. And I'm sorry that you are the exception that proves the rule, and you're a beautiful human wherever you are. But for 99.9% of the rest of us,
just khakis, and they changed my life. That makes me think of working retail.
I just feel like being forced to go like put on business casual clothes, like we can do work like
down like business clothes.
Like, I'm still doing my work. I'm way more productive. Having to put on like business casual clothes to meet somebody's expectations and go push buttons in a box in a building somewhere, instead of wearing my jeans and a t-shirt and pushing buttons in a room in my house. There's no, you're actually there. That's they're siphoning your power. That's where I'll get like right there. Just so
yes, I 100% think that's part of why they're trying to get everybody back into the office, because they're just trying to sap all that energy out of you. And it's like, oh, if you can do your job at home, you should do your job at home, period. Like, there's no reason to go waste time traveling and all of that.
So, you know, but I want to say, like, we're talking about the pandemic and your fail. You can still have some control. The plane is crashing, but you still have some control. Like, steer it away from people. Like, steer it, don't be screaming at people. Don't lose it. Eliminate the unnecessary stress of conforming to the expectations of others. Especially, it's always those that will forget your name within 6 months of you leaving their daily presence.
Yes.
Like, if these people aren't going to remember who you are for like the good you've done, then you do not need to impress them anymore.
Yeah, that's such a good
point. It's just forget it.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, like, don't get in trouble. Don't add to your stress. Be nice to people.
Right. Make people's lives easier. Make your own life easier and make other people's lives easier. That is a choice that you can make, like an easy choice to make. So make that choice.
Because like you said, I feel this going into pandemic year 3. I've been wrestling with it. I feel like every time, like literally over Thanksgiving, this is me. Go to get my physical, talk to my doctor. I'm like, I need my booster. I'm right at 6 months. She's like, that's cool. We have some. Get your booster. And I'm like, well, now that I'm boosted, maybe I'll try to go do some stuff. If there's it's not a tightly packed crowd. It's not like a thing. I'll still mask, but I'll go. And that was on a Monday. On Friday, Omicron was the announcement. And I'm just like,
yeah.
Every time.
I'm just like, I was going to go, like, maybe see a movie, and now I'm not.
Yep.
This is how we ended up doing Pan Paracon, though, because
it is.
We were going to go, most of us were going to go to Michigan Paracon, and then we all made the decision it was best not to go, considering, was it Delta around then, or was that?
It was before? Delta
was spiking. Yeah.
Delta was spiking. Delta was ripping. We promise, I guess, I bet you October we'll be doing this again. We will not be doing it in the metaverse, however.
No.
No. We can promise that. I will cut out some like paper aliens behind me if you need to see that. Like, we're in like Star Wars Cantina playing cards thing. We'll just I got time.
I need a new
I got time.
Yeah, there you go. We have time until then. Yeah.
But we will not be in the metaverse. We will not release any NFTs.
No.
Sorry.
No.
Oh, it's fine. Let's just bring out all the apocalypse hits right now. It's okay.
Just come on. I have to. I don't know. This is like me, like Jayson cast Shield of Idiocy level 5, and I have to laugh at the stuff. Like, that's my personal, that's my personal armor right there. I have to be jocular about it.
Right.
You know?
Again, we're all having a hard time, and you got to figure out how to cope with this now, because again, I remember when we thought this was going to be 2 weeks or a month, and then maybe a couple months, and then now we're on year 3. So just be kind to yourself and other people. That's
everyone's having a bad day.
Exactly.
You have to get mad.
Right.
People are making mistakes, and it's just like,
this is from Twitter today. Stop drinking diet pop. Just drink a real pop like once every 3 weeks. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Better. Just commit. Just don't drink like 6 diet pops a day. You don't need that. Just drink. Yeah.
No.
Just like if you're gonna have if you're gonna drink pop,
Don't.
this is the. By the way, we're all Midwesterners, and it's where I am in. We are all in pop zone, and if you come here and ask for a soda, I'm gonna be like, it's pop.
No.
It's pop now.
It's soda. I live in Michigan
Nah.
where everyone says pop, but I say soda. I'm from Wisconsin. Like,
Is that where it
soda.
ends? Is that the soda? Is that the end of like soda, like pop territory ends in Wisconsin?
I feel like Wisconsin is just alone in itself in a little island of soda.
Okay. Okay.
Do they say pop in Illinois?
I hear both. I think it's mostly soda, but I feel like I grew up with both. So
It is at least in Northeast Ohio. It is pop.
okay.
I don't know. I've always said pop.
I'll
Soda.
take a Dr. Pepper.
Soda to you, soda to you, but seriously, just like treat yourself to the real thing, but in moderation, you'll feel better.
Right. I
Or
love
once a
that.
day, like me.
I don't know. I got nothing else.
No,
I mean,
don't do that.
I wish.
That's
Yeah.
okay. We've been going for over an hour. I can cut it.
Did anybody, if, 'cause this is for the YouTube live, are there any survivors in the chat? Are they just like, did we wipe them out? Their
I don't know.
People are still here, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does anyone have random questions for us? I don't know. What's your favorite color?
Yeah.
Orange.
Purple.
Black. Which I think is all of our personalities. So it makes sense.
Right?
All right, cool. Well, I think we can wrap this up, right?
Okay.
Unless
Yeah.
either of you has
We
any
could.
yeah.
I think I think I'm done.
Great.
Like-
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Was there anything else? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, if there's any, we're seeing more pop chat and pop talk in the chat. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we had a fun, relaxed chat. That was my goal. That was achieved.
Yeah.
We had a super chill
Yeah.
chat. I got to see you two for the first time in a couple months, which is
I
good.
know. That was
Yes.
very good.
Yeah. For
We'll
anybody who
have
is still
to-
watching / listening, we will be getting together at some point soon to talk plans for next year's Pan Paracon.
And
Mhm.
and
Send
get your
stuff
ideas.
in.
Get your
Go
ideas
to
ready.
the website. Go
Yeah,
to
email us.
the little picture. The email is that still there?
Yeah.
Great.
Go click it. Send an email, or it's panparacon@gmail.
Yep. At
Just
gmail.com.
let us know. Send us a DM. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Let us
You
know
can
what
hit-
you want to see.
Yeah.
And who you want to see. If you have speaker ideas,
Yes.
like this person would be excellent, I want to hear that excellent suggestion.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If it's
And-
you, if you're like, I would be excellent, I still want to hear that excellent suggestion.
Yes.
Also, too. Yes, exactly.
Let
Yes.
us know.
Yes, please.
And
Please
then-
join us. Play with us.
I don't know, I don't know about this. Well, it's not this year yet, but at some point we might do in person too. But I don't know, I kind of have high hopes.
I don't know.
I don't know about this year. I feel like,
Yeah.
oh God, that's so soon, even though it's really not. But
I know,
maybe
but
23.
In my mind,
fingers
for
crossed,
that,
yeah.
we all have we're in person and we all have full biohazard high fashion
like
biohazard
Dwight Schrute.
Oh, I could make those
contamination
suits. I could.
because we're on COVID
Hazard.
Omicron 2.
Oh my
It's cycled
God.
through or on-
Omicron.
Right,
And
exactly.
we just
The
are all
sequel.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. We all have helmets with little loudspeakers in them so people can hear us talk, and we'll just be bubble people. It'd be like,
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yes. Pan Paracon 2, the bubbling. And then that's, if you want to submit something on theme, you can. That would be great.
Oh my God, I love that. What is that? I can't think of what that just made me think of, but it made me think of something. Oh crap! It came and went fast. What is it? Oh, it's like some show. The bubbling though, like
Bubble.
this
Yeah.
which are like jumping into a river or something with our hazmat suits on.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
It'll be good because if we're at a convention center or something, just like they'll plug right into your helmet, the PA system.
Oh my God.
Kind of like,
oh yeah, great.
Jack you in there.
Is that what you need that cord for? What is it again? A 15
I need
pin AU.
I need 15-pin AUI cord to the audience.
We'll end it on that note.
I love it. Perfect.
Please find a 15-pin AUI cord for Jason, so we don't have to hear him talk. No, I'm just kidding. Just joking. No,
amazing.
No, but really, we have important science.
Yeah, of course. Yes. Incredible. Well, thank you both for joining me for this again live stream. To all the people on YouTube, thank you for watching.
Congratulations if you listen to this whole thing. Like,
check it out.
Shout out to the survivors.
Exactly. You get a gold star, a gold star balloon.
Watch it happen.
Yeah, I that would be great. All right, cool. Well, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And I hope strange, good things happen to all of you.
Weird, but not too weird.